Hi, this is Dina with Pretty Productive. We're a mother-daughter Etsy shop that sells planning tools, budgeting tools, kits, and different stickers, as well as customizable stickers. Can't speak today. What we're going to do is a really quick November recap and then set up our December budget, as well as stuff the envelopes for the first part of December. So to quickly kind of go through and fill out the rest of November. So for sinking funds, and I do all my sinking funds at the very end of the month because you really don't know what's going to be left in the sinking fund, what you're going to have to use. So I always do as part of my month and when I go through and I kind of reconcile everything. So for vacation, started with $900. I added $154. I used $200 because we did end up going to Disneyland. So that means we probably should have done some math before we started. So we started with 900, added 154, took out 200. So 854 is what is in that account now. Christmas and gifts, I have not put in my sinking funds yet because I'm going shopping on Friday and that was part of my November budget. So I had $750 is what I was adding this month. And I know I've used $200 because I did start shopping. And my beginning balance was, go back, 847. And I still have 550 in my account. Whatever I don't spend on Friday, I will put into the account on Saturday. I'll just transfer it over. And then for bills, I put in 28 because I did pay pest control, which was 90, and normally I put that into the sinking funds. So I currently have, let's see here. $337. I added 28. Oh gosh. This is why I use erasable pens. Started with 309. I added 28. I didn't use anything because before I put it in, I took out the $90 for pest control. So we now have a balance of 337. All of these were paid. And I'll show you where the balances are when we look at December. And then as far as my weekly check-in, so I had a couple goals that I was working on for the month of November. One was to have 10 no-spend days, and spoiler alert, I did not make 10 days. It's amazing how many little things I would end up doing and realize I was spending money. So, and then it's kind of unclear to me, like when I go to church and I donate, is that part of spending or is that, you know, a planned expense? So I think I needed to clarify with myself what my guidelines were, but I did have some no spend days and I'll show you which ones they were. My other goal was to save what was ever left in my envelopes at the end of the month so that I had extra money for activities in the month of December, and also to stay within budget. So I did a really good job on the last two. So I'll just show you what I have right now. So for groceries, I started with $500 for the month, and I did a lot more cooking at home and eating at home this month than I've had in the past. So 60, 70, 75, 76, 77, 78. $78 is left. And so that means I spent $422. So probably one of the first times I can remember that I actually have money left over. Allowance, I have 25 left. So my budget for the month was 200. So that means I spent 175 and I have 25 left. Again, very rare that I have money left over. And then eating out is very empty. In fact, I went a little over in eating out and ended up taking some money from groceries because there was nights where it was really late and I didn't want to cook. So there you go. Recreation is done, and giving is done, and personal care is done as well. So what I have left to put into savings, plus 25, so I have 103, and I have 107 from the first budget check-in. So I'm putting 210 into my savings fund for the month of December. So this has worked out well for me. Sometimes if I want to save money, I just start my budget smaller, and then I feel like I'm chasing it the whole month. So this way, just if I had it left over, I tried to really be very intentional with my money and not spend randomly if I didn't need to. So this has worked well for me to help me save, in addition to staying on budget. So I always show this on my video. It's called a shop called A Time for Everything, I believe. She does these cash dividers. I know some people use them in their wallets. I use it in here, and this is the money that stays at home. So I'll put that in there. And then for eating out, I actually spent $245. So let me take, so really this should have been $377 because I did spend part of that for eating out. Nothing remaining. Giving, I spent the whole $400, nothing remaining. Household, she did come twice this month. Entertainment is gone. Grooming is gone. And recreation is done. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the way November turned out. Okay, so let's look at December. So this is the kit that I'm using for December. So this is the thin washi, the budget headers, the thick washi, and then what I'm calling the planning kit, and that's what I'm using in the front of my calendar. And then as well as half boxes and quarter boxes, and then some Winter Wonderland stickers that my daughter created. So we'll come back to the goals and that part of it, but this is how it lays out. And what I do with the sidebar is anything that I know is going to be different this month versus normal. So obviously we've got Christmas right off the bat, so I'm going to write Christmas. I, in my budget, put more money into groceries and to eating out for this month. It's also really considered a 5-week month, and we do have an extra paycheck at the end of the month. So it's kind of going to be all over the board, but I know that if I just look at 5 weeks in the month, I needed to increase my giving category. I needed to increase groceries as well as going out. It's a very social time. I am going to be off some days this month. So I know that when I'm off, I'm probably going to want to go to a movie or things like that. So I just wanted to plan on that part up front. I don't have any major bills due this month that are different than other months, so I'm going to wait to do that. We do sometimes get a profit sharing bonus. I did not plan that into my budget because it's not confirmed, and I don't know what it would be if we did get it. So my plan is, if that does come through, to either throw it at debt or to put it into a sinking fund. But I'll kind of cross that bridge when that happens, if it happens. So that's what we're going to do there. So our monthly budget. And again, if you've watched my videos, you've seen this many, many times. But this is a form that I use to lay out my budget. So I first lay out the budget here, and then from this piece of paper, which I call a work in progress always, then I will put the information into the Every Dollar app. I do love that app and it's a great on the go, but I do find that I personally need to have this completely written out before I go to the app, because then I feel like I'm just moving categories all the time. So we will actually have 4 paychecks this month. So paycheck 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what I do is I just take the 4 checks and I divide it by 4. So that it's all together. My husband and I get paid on the same day, which is Friday. He'll get paid again on the 14th, and then he'll get paid again on the 28th, and then I'll get paid again on like the 31st. So it's kind of all come in together. I did not put anything in for the bonus, and I kind of explained that why. So I have one daughter who pays $200 towards her phone bill and her insurance, another daughter that pays $180, and then I have an expense check for $154. So I do count that as income because I pay it, and then I'm paid back. So I do put it in as income. So income for the month would be $12,534. My mortgage. So I increased my mortgage $100. It's been $3,200. And what we're doing is we're making one extra payment over the year. So if you take your principal and you divide that by 12, you'll find that it comes out, for me, it comes out to $168 that I need to pay additional each month so that I make that extra payment. So my 15-year mortgage will get paid off more like 7 or 8 years. And you don't really miss the $100. I would miss if I had to come up with another $3,200 payment at the end of the year, but I don't miss $100 a month. So I am increasing that to $3,300 because when they took the taxes out this time in November, I realized I wasn't going to make a full payment if I kept putting in the extra that I had been doing. So I did need to recalculate that. So my new payment will be $3,300. My cell phone has gone up. AT&T changed our plan. They gave us a lot more data for $10 more a month. At first I was a little upset, but then when the discounts that came off that my company has, then it was really $10 more a month. So I'll take 15 more gigs of data for $10. Telephone, which is my office phone, which is reimbursed, is $45. Internet, $110. Netflix, $15. Water and trash. I already have my water bill. It's $133, so it's down a little bit from last month, but a couple dollars more than it's been running. Electric, I estimated $200. Last month it was $179, so I'm gonna guess it's gonna be right around that same number. Life insurance for my husband and I, $106. Auto insurance, $303, and that's for 3 cars. I have a company vehicle, so they pay for my gas, my maintenance, and my insurance. Gas is natural gas, and that will be about $45. It runs a little higher this time of year. We have a gas water heater, gas oven, dryer. So we are kind of going over to natural gas wherever we can, just because it is so much more cost effective. I have 3 subscriptions: Elements Massage for $70, Ellie Edwards, which is a story subscription, for $15, and Audible, which is $16. So my fixed expenses is $4,739. I take that number and put it over here under fixed expenses. So these are what I consider non-negotiables. This is what keeps the lights on. These are your 4 walls. You really can't adjust these too much. You can estimate some of them that aren't fixed, but you don't really have too much of an option here. Over in lifestyle though, you have some wiggle room, and this is where if you want to cut back and become a lot more gazelle intense, this is where I would recommend that you do that. Because it is a 5-week month, and I know there's 5 Sundays in the month of December, I did increase my giving $100. Groceries, I took it from $500 to $700, and that's because of baking and things that are going to be very different, not just dinners. So I did increase that number. Eating out, I put $300. Clothing, I put $150. Now clothing is a virtual envelope for me. I leave it in the account until I need it. Allowance, $250. Again, there's 5 weeks. I give myself $50 a week, so I did increase that $50. Household, $110. Now normally this would be $210, but she's only going to come once in the month of December. She's going to take that back half off, so I only put $110 down. Entertainment, $100. Personal care, I put $80. I do have a massage scheduled once in the month of December, and then I probably will get my hair cut and colored as well. Medical copay, I put 30. That's a virtual envelope. My doctor's office no longer takes cash, so you have to use a debit or a credit card there, so I just leave it in the account. Recreation, I put 100, and then side hustle, I put 200. So I did go a little over in the month of November, but we are having a sale this weekend for our shop. So I wanted to make sure we had some extra supplies on hand. So there really is nothing else that we will need for the shop in the month of December. So that's what I'm going to put down. My seeking funds will kind of come back to, this is what I think we're going to do, what I have left, but I'll come back to that. So my lifestyle is 3,510, and that comes down here. And then my snowball. So I currently have 3 debts. Barclay is going to be paid off in December. I'm making a $1,245 or $43 payment, so the balance will be 0. So basically, what's left on the account. My Barclay Apple, I'm paying $200, and my Chase, I'm paying $900. So my Barclay Apple after the payment will be at $1,772, and Chase will be at $2,300. So my next plan of attack will be this Chase card. It is interest free until April, so it needs to be paid off before April. This Apple card is interest free until 2021. So, but they will both be paid off. My target is March. We get our year-end bonuses in March, and that's what I've been using to pay off debt. So whatever's left will be paid off in March, which is a great feeling. So my total income would be $12,534, fixed expenses $4,739, lifestyle $3,510, debt snowball $2,343, sinking fund $1,942, and that's balances to a total income. So I think the main difference this month is the fact that I normally don't take the extra check. So this is really not extra, but the one coming in at the end of the month. But I felt like it was a good idea to do it this time because our bills will be due later on in January. And the 3 bills that I have that are my annual bills that come out in the month of January, which is Amazon Prime, my Backblaze, which is my remote backup system for all of our computers and iPads, comes out in January, as well as I have like a yoga meditation app that I pay a yearly subscription to because it's less expensive than paying a monthly, and that will come out in January as well. And my homeowner's insurance, my HOA, will come out in January. So all of those I put into bills so that that money, that extra money, will go ahead and go into bills in December. So when I have to pay those in January, the money's already there. So it's, that after Christmas time period, it feels like you're just, everything is new and you're having to redo everything. And I will not have any debt, obviously, from the holidays, but you don't want to kind of feel like you have, you're struggling in the month of January because all of these are going to come in. The one thing that I do in my planner is I have little Post-it notes, and things that are quarterly or annually, I just keep them on a Post-it note in that month, just in case I forget that that's going to come out that month. Like our life insurance comes out quarterly, but I put in every month so that I'm never worried about that coming out of the account. Okay, so that is December at a glance. This is a work in progress. As things come in and they're finalized, then I write in the actual amount and then the plus or minus. Same with our paychecks. If I do happen to get a bonus, then I'll put that into sinking funds and you'll see where that happens in. Okay. This is my cash breakdown that I got today at the bank. I always stuff my envelopes before the first of the month. That way I'm not waiting until I get paid and then rushing to try to get that done. And that's just kind of giving myself a cushion when I started this process. It's just more relaxing to me that way. Okay. And I've had requests to have this in our shop. I think, we're working on something that's maybe a little bit more generic. I mean, obviously these are my categories, but it will be laid out like this. So an income source, fixed expenses, lifestyle, sinking funds, debt snowball. It's very similar to the way the app is laid out for every dollar. So something like this will be coming in. We have a whole group of digital downloads that will be coming into the shop very, very soon. I'm trying to get them in for the sale. We'll see how that works. Okay, so my cash envelope categories are groceries, eating out, grooming, giving, household, which really isn't an envelope, it goes into my tab, but I kind of put it over here. Entertainment, recreation is really one category. I don't know why I separate it, probably because the app does, and allowance. Okay, so I've done this different ways. I think it's gonna be easier for me if I just put my whole budget for the month in here, and then that way I can just kind of do. And I usually put in what I put in, what I fund the envelope with, and then I get totally confused throughout the month. So I'm just gonna put what the entire budget is. So for groceries, it's $700. For eating out, it's $300. For grooming, it was $80. For giving, it is $500. For household, it's $110. For recreation and entertainment, it is $200, $100 each, and for allowance is $250. And then what I do, I only stuff my envelopes every other week. So what I do is I take the excess money and put it in here, and this stays home away from me so I can't spend it. And I have tabs for each one of my envelopes. So what I do is I take the balance that I have that I'm waiting for, and I put it under the tab. And then when Friday rolls around and I sit down and I balance out where I am on my budget, then I take the money from here and I put them into my envelopes. And then when I stuff my envelopes again, then I put the money in here after I go to the bank, and then they stay in here and then until I'm ready to stuff my envelope. So the money is either in my envelope or it's in here, but it's not, this is not with me. And I think that's the important part for me. I am a huge spender. And if this is with me and I find something that I want, then I would definitely take it and go. As far as a lot of budgeters that I watch on YouTube will take the money out of their account and then put the money back in their account. I don't do that. If it's something that I think I'm going to use for online shopping, like for Christmas or for gifts or for clothing or anything that I'm more than likely going to use online, I leave the money in my account. I always leave half my groceries in the account as well in case I want to do Instacart or HelloFresh, which I really enjoy doing. I don't want to have to go put the money back in the account, and I don't want to use a credit card. So I leave half of my going out money, half of my allowance, everything pretty much stays in the account. So that way when I want to shop online, the money's there, I don't have to put it back. So that's just me. I'm lazy like that. I don't want to have to put it back, because if I don't put it back, then I'm spending more than I have budgeted, which I have done many, many times in my life. So let's get started. So this is how I broke it out. And today I'm actually filming this on the day before Thanksgiving, which it was crazy at the bank. I don't know if people were getting ready to go on trips or what was happening, but it was very busy. Okay, so I have my little cheat sheet over here, my envelope from the bank, and my little cheat sheet. So we're gonna start with groceries. I'm gonna put in $250. Now I did kind of look in my freezer. I already bought the food that I'm gonna use, obviously, for Thanksgiving, and I have enough meals in the fridge for this week. So I won't need to go to the grocery store till sometime next week, which is nice. I try to avoid grocery stores completely this time of year because it's just crazy. So I'm going to put $250 in. These cards come with our envelopes, so when you purchase the envelopes, you get its front and back. I always use both sides. I keep my receipts in here throughout the month. I do fetch rewards, and you scan your receipts in, and you kind of can use them for gift cards and things like that. So I keep them all in here. They've already been scanned in, and then at the end of the month, I just can throw them away. So we're going to fund. And that's $250. Balance will be $250. Now what I do is I don't put the whole $250 in. I put $150 in. Again, you have to know yourself and what works for you. And I know that if I go to the grocery store, Target, or Walmart with $250, I can find a way to spend it. So I take my tab for groceries and I put the $100 there, and this stays at home. So this one's done. Personal care was $80. And this one I'm going to put the whole $80 in. Let's see how I broke it out. So for personal care, I like to kind of break it up because it's tips for when I get a massage or a haircut, things like that. If I decide to get my nails done, then you always need singles and things like that to tip. So I put 3 20s, which was 60. 3 5s. And then 5 1s. That should be 80. 20, 40, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80. And that will be it for the month. I only have currently 1 massage scheduled, so I don't think. And now we are going to a huge meeting in January, so I will probably plan out in January getting my nails done and haircut and things like that. But I might end up doing it at the end of this month as well. We're gonna fund 80. Okay, so for giving, I used to do online giving, or I wrote a check. I think this is just so much easier. There's little envelopes that we can fill out so that your year-end giving statement is correct. I did not write that down. So I did not write down the other 2. I'm going to put 100 in here for this weekend, and then the other 100 will go into the one at home for giving. So I just used my labeler on these. I did cut them down so they fit into my wallet a little bit better in case I did want to put them in my wallet sometimes for my allowance, or if I'm going to like just grab my wallet, not grab my binder, then I'll just grab the money and the tab and stick it in my wallet, and that way it's there and I know what the money goes to. But normally I just have this with me with my envelope. So giving will stay over there with groceries. Let's go ahead and do household. That's 110. I don't have an envelope for this because this stays home always, so that if I'm not home and she comes, my husband has access to the money. Allowance. So allowance, I start with 100. So 2 weeks of 50 each, and I break it up as 50 and 50. So 50 will go into my envelope for now. And allowance. Sometimes I track it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll just throw it in my wallet. Sometimes I keep it in its envelope. I've even actually just take my envelope and stuck it inside my wallet because it does fit in there. But your allowance for me should be money that you can just spend. You don't have to account for it. It's yours to do whatever you want, kind of your mad money. So I feel like the least restrictive that this category is for me, the better. The other 50 goes into the tab that's marked allowance, and I will put in the balance when I redo my budget at the end of next week. So recreation and entertainment was actually going to be one category, and I am putting in $50. What I found last month was I actually had to move money around inside my account because I did some online ordering for some different shops, some Etsy shops and things like that. So while I have $200 in this category, 100 for recreation, 100 for entertainment, I'm only going to put 50 in here for now, and then I'll look and see if I spend this or not, and then I can add to it from there. I just want to avoid moving money around within my account if I can. Let's see, so 1127 fund is 50. And in here is where I keep any coupons for like Joann's or anything like that. Because that's usually where my recreation money goes. Joann's, Michael's, Tuesday morning, any of the above. Eating out. So this is my category that I go over month after month after month. And I am increasing it this month so I can hopefully kind of curtail this a little bit. Now, my husband is having surgery next week, so we won't be going out very much because it'll be very hard for him to go out. So I will be eating at home more. I do have some coupons in here because part of my goals for the month of November was to be more intentional. So if there was a coupon available and I was going there anyways, use the coupon, which I normally wouldn't even think about doing that. So so for eating out, oh no, it's on that side. I'm actually going to get a new one at this point. So today I'm going to fund, and I'm going to put $100 in. I think in this case, I'm going to put the whole 100 in because I am doing 300 this time. Normally what I would do would be put 50 in the envelope and 50 would go over into the envelope that would stay at home. But this month, because I am going to increase this by $100, and because I know I'm probably not going to be going out very often because we will be homebound, I will be cooking more. I will be doing HelloFresh more this month as well. Then I'm safe really to leave this in the envelope because I'm not really going to have the opportunity to spend it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the whole 100 in this time, and we'll see how that goes. I have literally spent the entire money on the first weekend, so I cannot be trusted with extra money in that envelope. I don't know what it is about that one. So that is what we are going to start with. And then when we look at what is staying home underneath the tabs, I will have groceries for 100. And remember, I left money in the account. So HelloFresh will come out of the account. Instacart will come out of the account. So I don't have to put money back in. So that's kind of the way that works right now. That went really out of focus. Is that better? It does not like this shiny. Okay, let's just move this. Camera does not like the shiny envelope. So groceries is 100. Giving is 100. Household is 110. Allowance is 50. And then on Friday the 6th, I will come back. I'll pull this back out of my hiding place, and I will review what's still left in my envelopes, and then I will add in the money from here that needs to go in here. And then on the 13th, Friday the 13th, I will go back to the bank, look at what I have in balance that I want to pull into the account, and then I will restuff the envelopes at that time. So this stays home. This goes into my Filofax Maldron. I think for next year, I am going to kind of separate this a little bit, because right now this is my planner. I have my checkbook in here. Everything's in here. But I find that I'm grabbing this and my wallet and other things. So I'm gonna kind of move my system around a little bit next year, I think. But these go in here. I do keep a check register. People comment on that all the time. I plan out my entire month. So each check, what's coming out of each check. And then when it clears the bank, then I take and highlight it. I do that because if not, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and think, did I pay that? There are only 2 bills that I have that are not on auto pay, and that is my water bill and my electric bill, and that's only because they are so different every month. And I used to have it where they would send the bills through my credit union, and the alerts were so annoying. So now I just go in when I get the bill, I do a bill pay, like an online bill pay, and I'm done with it. And then I just check it off in my check register when I have done that, so I make sure that that's paid. Everything else in my life is on auto pay, and I do that because that just makes my life easier. I work full-time plus, and I don't ever want to worry about, whether I paid a bill or not. So thank you so much for watching. We did want everyone to know that we will be having a sale this weekend for Small Business Saturday. So everything in the shop will be 30% off for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we did a video last night where my daughter and I finally got her to get on camera. And we introduced ourselves, told you a little bit about what the history of the shop is, showed a lot of new items that we are loading into the shop. We have a ton of things that we have added to the shop, as well as some special requests that we've had from customers. So all of that will be 30% off for the weekend. So thank you so much for all of the positive feedback and subscribers. And if you have not subscribed already, please do so. We enjoy this process. I feel like it makes me completely accountable for staying on my budget. It helps me to really kind of learn from other YouTubers on different ways to do it, because budgeting is so personal. This system works for me. If you learn anything from the video, thank you, for watching, and I'm glad that you could learn a tip or two. If you have not done so already, please subscribe, hit the button so you'll be notified of our videos. We will be starting different videos coming up soon, both from like Procreate and digital planning and things like that my daughter will be doing. And then I'll be finally getting to do my plan with me's, because my planner is my lifeline, and I love to plan and lay out my week. I do block scheduling, so that will be coming in the new year as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all, if you're in the United States, please have a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you soon. Thank you.